You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the new. I'm your host, Randy Perham. So, hope you all had a great weekend. I think it was President's Day weekend. What was that last weekend? Don't remember. Retirement life sucks. You don't keep up with those things anymore. No. Retirement life is actually pretty enjoying it, although very, very busy. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying it. You know, here's what it is. So, but anyway, I had to buy a new Bible over the weekend, and I know it's probably like, okay, but here's the story. I was in Bible study online with some friends a couple weeks ago, last week, and my Bible that I had for years, the print was so tiny that when I was asked to read a verse, as part of our sharing, I couldn't really see it. I had to I'm like, ooh, man, whoa, what is that? And so I was like, okay, this is letting me know that my vision is depleting, and it's time to upgrade to the large print version of the Bible. And got that done, and now I need to go get some tabs and stuff so I can tabulate my Bible, that way I can get through it quicker. But anyways, so I did that, and then last night I was in my college course and doing responses to the discussion boards and everything, and one of my classmates was poking fun at me and about my involvement, my engagement in the class, and he mentioned that he's like, well, you shouldn't have a problem with your final essay since you already covered the topic pretty well. And I was like, final essay? What final essay? So I had to go into the assignments tab, and lo and behold, there was one more paper due. Although I did my paper 2 weeks ago and turned it in early, I thought I was done. I thought this week coming up, I was going to be smooth sailing, chilling, don't have no work to do. But no, there was one more paper I had to do. And I'm actually almost done with it. I started on it last night after I saw that it was due this coming Sunday. I started on it last night, and like I said, I'm almost done with it. It's pretty simple stuff. So, but yeah, I got that. Yeah. Over the weekend, I was also on Gab for a little bit, A Gab is another social media platform, in case you're not familiar with it. And I was reading an article that was someone posted on there on the general feed there. I was reading an article that kind of jumped out at me. Got past the article and started looking at the comments, and I noticed two people were very racist. They were like, their commentary was like just super racist, and the article was surrounding about the black community being angry at Joe Biden for his commentary about us not knowing how to use the internet. So it was kind of like catching it as black uh, community being pushed towards conservatives, becoming Republicans, something of that nature. But the commentary by these two races, it was a male and female, a profile pic, in case you don't know, and the other person, she could tell that was not her real name. She just had just her first name on there, or assumably her first name. And so both of these two, they were just saying some stuff, talking amongst each other, and started trolling them. And I could tell right off the bat on their commentary, their initial, before I interjected myself, was that these were liberals, white liberals, um, fake profiles in a sense. And so I started trolling them, and they was trying to act like they was conservatives, and nothing they were saying surrounded. They couldn't even in conservative speak. I had fun with them for a few minutes, and then I just like, all right, enough of that. But so that was that. Let's do this weekend. But this weekend also, there was a lot going on this weekend, as you can see. This weekend, yesterday it was 71. We were in a winter storm, power outages, water pipes frozen, and everything else. And yesterday it had the audacity to get to 71 degrees. Today's even a nice day out. It's probably sitting around the 60s right now. So this goes back to the conversation last week as to the winter preparation for Texas, and how they need to invest the money into these kind of phenomena that come through and everything else. But the ideology, the mentality behind that is this only happens once a decade for a couple of days out of that decade. It's not that bad. So it's not to say, it's not to dismiss that there won't be equal or terrible winter storms in the future, but the idea that to invest billions of dollars into something that's potentially will never happen again, or very minimal impact to change anything, I can see that the hesitation on that. I can understand it. So when that's, I guess you say, best practice, looking at the weather and you see that, oh, it's going to get cold this weekend, that will be your cue to prepare whatever way that you can, the best way that you can, for such events. Plan ahead a little bit. Get a couple of gallons of gas and gas cans, store it away, uh, water, food, extra food. Put it somewhere where you're not gonna be tempted to eat it before the help. Winterizing your pipes, you can easily go to Lowe's or whatever and get insulating material, to kind of protect those kind of things. If that's what you're into, if that's what your biggest concerns are, talk to your landlords if you're not property owner and stuff like that. So it's just the little things that we can do on our own without the dependency of the government or some government officials and whatever else to intervene in our daily lives on such I ain't gonna say disasters, but such issues. So as that, this weekend also, like I said, a lot was going on this weekend. It was a Student Veterans of America national conference that I participated in. It was virtual, so but had a great time interacting with some old friends, some colleagues, other students, other professionals online with the different breakout sessions and classes and networking, exchanging contact information. I offered to have a couple of them be guests on the show, so in the coming months you'll probably see some folks that I'll be engaging with on the show here. So it was good. It was good, and I highly encourage you all to get involved in something like that. You know, Student Veterans of America. If you are a veteran, or if you are a student, you can still get involved in this platform there. But yeah, that's what happened this weekend. Folks, we'll be right back. We're gonna jump to a quick commercial.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Put your hands together.
Damn!
Say it again.
Hey! What you doing back here? Mufasa!
Say it again. Feel right in his...
I've just discovered that I may have a son here in this land. How much child support is she getting from? The king pays no child support.
No child support for 30 years and you came back? You was a dummy.
Hello, I am Hakim Jaffer, King of Zamunda. You are the heir to the throne.
Yes, my father. He's supposed to be like the prince of Wakanda.
Wakanda is a fictional place.
Not to everybody.
Zamunda is a very real nation.
I don't need no handout.
Wait a minute.
All right, I'm gonna pack. Okay,
Presenting King Akim's son from America.
And my mom's.
And his mom's.
Children, this is your brother.
Hey, Quine. I'm sorry I slept with your man.
This happened before we even met.
It's not like you're the first man I've ever been with.
What did you just say about the other men?
Coming to America, now it's coming to me.
I always thought that Mika was to be queen.
A woman isn't allowed to rule Zamunda. It's the law.
Did it ever occur to you that Mika wanted to be your heir?
Would you dare banish me from my own bedroom?
How you doing, King?
I'm getting it from everywhere. I have upset my family.
You must be strong.
And General Izzy would love nothing more than to take over Zamunda.
Raise it higher.
I'm a king,
Put your hands together.
I like that.
Say it again.
Give me all.
It's a party over here!
I must admit, your style is far into my kingdom, but it's impressive.
That's right.
There you go.
Let me hear you say, hey, ho.
Hey, ho!
No, don't do that. That's his mother.
Oh, don't you say that.
No, not to his mother.
I'm a king.
Almost ready to become a prince.
Almost.
It is time.
Ceremonial circumcision.
Bring forward the royal machete.
Machete.
They're gonna sharpen you too, nephew.
Coming to America, now it's coming to me. I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, CPAC 21, Conservative Political Action Conference, will be happening down in Orlando, Florida, from the 25th through the 28th, my birthday weekend. Whoop, whoop. But President Trump, former President Trump, 45, whatever you want to call him, will be speaking. However, former Vice President Mike Pence declined to speak, declined to even attend. Now, speculation is brewing that there's some bad blood between the two. I lean towards probably not. I think Mike Pence is just trying to back away from this populism movement that's going on right now surrounding Trump, given that Mike Pence still has, I guess you could say, a political future ahead of him if he decides to run for something later on. He doesn't want to be associated with what's transpiring right now, especially between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump, with their beef that they have going on. But in a sense, though, I can understand Mike Pence's position, and he's riding the fence. He's a prudent and pragmatic guy, so I give him the benefit of the doubt of his distancing from what's going on right now, and I get it, but more so, I would say that and look at the Democrats and the Republicans, you see this how can I say, this paradigm shift starting to unfold, where Democrats and Republicans are becoming a thing of the past. There was a poll that was taken just recently that 46% of right now, 46% of the Republicans that were polled. I don't know how many. I didn't get into all that. Well, I'm assuming it's a pretty significant number. But 47% of them said that if Donald Trump was to create a new party, that they will leave the party. Now, in retrospect of that, just by itself, we set it to the side for a second. There are things in the works of a patriot party within the caucus of the Democrats. So I say what I say this. I would not be surprised or shocked to see that the traditional two-party system that the United States know of as Democrats and Republicans fade away, and you have this emergence of a socialist Democratic Party and a patriot party. Those who hold true and dear to the Constitution, to conservatism and everything else along with that, versus give free stuff and all that good stuff that comes with them. So I would not be surprised to see this emergence happen. Now, right now, they would probably be nestled under the traditional party system, but I'm willing to bet dollars and donuts that there will be a breakaway, and these two parties will be the emergent parties of the United States. So I would say more to follow with that. And then when you think about it, let's look at the conversation. Let's examine the conversation that's going on right now between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump. Let's peel back the onion on that for a second. Mitch McConnell is talking about that are pro-Trumpers that are riding on the Trump platform, but those who just win and become, seating members of Congress. Trump, on the other hand, is like, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, this movement is big. It's bigly. And pushing this Trumpian platform, you're gonna lose. The GOP will not win control of the House or Senate for years to come. And largely, I think he's right, because populism is a a centerpiece in politics these days. That's why you have these various congressional members on both sides creating a branding campaign on these left stream and right stream media outlets. They're out there talking. They're out there, pitching different things. They're out there uh, battling one another, calling each other out on different things because it's a popular thing to do. Right now, we got um, the debacle between Ted Cruz going to Cancun, Andrew Cuomo in New York with the nursing home scandal. I mean, so you got those things going on. So I would say pay attention to the populist movement that's going on, but it's also that by itself is nestled under the paradigm that's going on to create a set of parties to take center stage in our American politics. So this is something to pay attention to. Now, moving on, I shut up with the political science analysis here. But moving on, there's the Fulton County election director Richard Barron was fired a few days ago by a board of three to two by a director's board. You get what I'm saying? 3-2, and I take what happened on November 3rd. I just put it like that. So this video doesn't get it. You can't sit there and continue to deny or say, oh, it didn't happen. It was a free and fair event. Folks, if that was the case, if that was true, granted, I'm going to pause right there. The Supreme Court, breaking news just now, the Supreme Court did just dismiss a lot of the cases that were surrounding what happened on November 3rd, issues what's going on at the state level. If everything was free and fair and everything was kosher, why are they having a Zoom meeting to fire? Take a look.
In a 3-2 vote, Fulton County's election board voted today to fire Director Richard Barron amid criticism over how the county handled last year's elections. Tracy A. McPeer has more on today's decision.
All in favor of the motion. Cooney, no. Newerdin?
Aye.
Wingate?
Aye.
Johnson?
No.
Ruth?
Yes.
The ayes have it.
And with that vote, Fulton County's election director, Richard Barron, was removed from his position 8 months after the June primary, when Fulton County voters waited for hours in long lines. Precincts opened late, and poll workers struggled to operate new voting equipment. Board member Aaron Johnson voted against firing Barron, but admits the primary did not go well.
One thing led to another. We did have an awful election, but staff recovered well. And for the most part, November went well. Our mobile voting units, our Fulton Votes app, all those things that were under Rick's leadership.
Board member Dr. Kathleen Ruth voted to fire him, citing a state election board report based on 270 hours of observations.
There were no chain of custody forms being used as ballots moved from room to room. Mass optional policy putting essential staff at unnecessary risk. No process to sufficiently protect spoiled and rejected ballots in the mailroom, using an outdated version of Easy Vote to check in voters.
Still, Johnson says the timing is not right.
I think it's going to cause chaos for the November elections, and I just don't feel that this is the best option for this department.
These errors and inefficiencies waste taxpayers' dollars. They undermine voter confidence. The department needs new leadership that can take Fulton to the next level.
The next election scheduled for Fulton County is the municipal election in November. That election includes the Atlanta mayoral race.
So there you have it. But I don't know. with the prosecutorial recommendations for these issues and the evidence that's like still mounting up, that's still surfacing, like what's the so what? That's my question. What is the so what? What are we getting at here? We those who are objectively paying attention to everything, what are we getting at here? What is the expected result? Is it going to be like, oh, there it is, we got enough to overturn the election, Biden, get the hell out, welcome back? Are we expecting that? I'm hard pressed to see that unfolding, or even the calls for that to even happen. So it remains wrong, you know. It could be it's our first time for everything. So we'll see. But anyways, just want to share it with you all. Put that in your rucksack. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Have you heard about Thrive? It's a question asked 1,000 times a day. The Thrive 8-week experience has become the fastest growing health and wellness movement in North America. Over 10 million people have started the experience, and anywhere from 10 to 50,000 experience orders ship out every day. Why is this 6-letter word, THRIVE, turned into a phenomenon? Because it's simple. 1. Take 2 Thrive Premium Lifestyle Capsules on an empty stomach as soon as your feet hit the floor in the morning. 2. 20 minutes later, drink the Thrive Ultra Micronized Lifestyle Mix. 3. Apply patent-pending DFT Dermafusion technology to clean, dry skin. That's it. You're all done. And now you're set to thrive for the day. Because it's innovative. We all have nutritional gaps. No matter how well we eat or live, we simply can't get the body everything it needs from a nutritional standpoint. That's why Thrive was formulated. To supplement your diet and lifestyle. Once you complete your simple Thrive 3 steps in the morning, you've now introduced 3 different Thrive formulas that synergistically work as one. Feeding your body over 100 premium-grade vitamins, minerals, plant extracts, digestive enzymes, probiotics, antioxidants, protein, fiber, and more. The premium-grade nutrition helps fill in your body's nutritional gaps because it flat out works. Check out what just a few Thrivers are saying about their Thrive experience.
I couldn't believe how great that I was feeling from it.
I noticed a huge difference. A huge difference. I didn't even think I needed it.
I'm down 73 pounds. I'm at my high school graduation weight.
I was more patient with my kids, sleeping better, really loving life again. I felt like I was in my 20s, early 20s again.
Because I've tried other products in the past, but it was like remembering to take this in the morning, take this in the afternoon, take this before bed. So the simplicity of those 3 steps felt like I was living my best life.
It really just rocked my world. It was energized, but it was joy. From then on, it's just life, and every day has been better.
It's like somebody installed new lights. Everything was brighter, clearer.
It's laughing and smiling and present and not being exhausted.
Thrive is where it's at.
Now that you've heard about Thrive, the next question is, are you ready to start the experience? Learn more at Lavelle.com and Facebook.com/LavelleBrands. Find out how to get your Thrive Experience products for free by referring 2 friends to do the experience with you. Find out how to not only earn free products, but earn commissions as well for sharing the Thrive Experience with others as a Lavelle brand promoter. The decision to take the Thrive Experience or share the experience with others is all up to you. Just start your Thrive Experience today.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.
Hey, welcome back. So, for those of you that are not familiar with Lavelle and the Thrive Experience, get with me sometime, anytime, and I'll explain to you, get you brought on board. I'm wearing my patch today. Yeah, get my Thrive on. So, but anyways, I'm looking at the time. I got time. I got time to unpackage this. White fragility. How to try less to be white by the author of White Fragility. Let me say that. Robert DiAngelo. All this stuff out the way. Robert DiAngelo has this training program on LinkedIn Learning, and it's basically it's the title of it, but it's well, that's what it comprises of. It's addressing racism or white people not knowingly being racist or overtly being racist and how to combat these things. Let me put it like that. But I just took the course. Kid you not, I finished it right before the show, time wise, but it did take me a couple hours because I was doing other things. I have the certificate. It's on my LinkedIn profile now and all that good stuff because I wanted to be objective in talking about this particular course. Now, yes, I'm gonna poke fun at it, and I do have another video of someone else talking about it, giving their perspective as a white woman about this video. Yeah, but I highly encourage you all to check out, go through the training, and you will see what she unpackages as pretty legitimate, actually. Um, the most of the presentation was surrounded by basically perspective, laced in some facts, but largely subjective. Yeah, I know that didn't make any sense to you probably, but you'll get what I'm saying if you go through the training, if you watch it. She does a phenomenal job, presenting everything. I did have an issue with the presentation, but the content I did kind of like. I'm not gonna jump on that one. I'm not gonna. I can't co-sign with that one. But try to be less white. What does that mean? That's like telling somebody try to be less black. Now, a friend of mine came on with, they have that also. Try to be less black with the hair thing back in a couple years ago. Now, that's a little different because we're talking about dreadlocks and, your hair appearance, wearing your hair natural. That's not relegated to black people. It's just not, proven. It's a proven point that you have white people that wear dreads in Africa and other places, even here in the U.S. You go out to California to the beaches, you got white people out there with dreads. They're not going to walk into Microsoft or whatever company with their dreads if it's against company policy, just as it would be for a black woman or a black man. So we could debunk that narrative just on the surface right there by itself. To say that this is a application, that policy was an application towards just black people because it just simply was. But going back to this particular training segment, we're looking at an emergence of coaching white people on how to culturally appropriate into other cultures without making it obvious. Okay, so like I said, it's pretty funny, and it feeds into this critical race theory thing that's gaining momentum. Ironically, that white people are inherently racist, whether they know it or not, and what we can do as society to address these problems and to basically get rid of it. Anytime you have government intervention into trying to equalize or to um, shelve or get rid of racism and discriminations and stuff like that, all you're doing is just exacerbating the situation. You're making it worse because you're creating resentment by forcing somebody to do something that they inherently or maybe even are unaware that they're doing. And it's the same thing that applies to minority communities as well. They face the brunt of the disaster from these policies and these ideas. Whether you believe that or not, or whether you see that or not, it's actually true because they're getting backlash because they walk into a room excuse me, an Asian person walk into a room and they say, "Hey, I'm here to apply for a job, or I'm here to enroll in school or whatever else," and you got this person sitting behind the counter looking over their application. They qualify, they meet the parameters and all that good stuff, and then next thing you know, it's like, "Oh, sorry, we got too many Asians here." You just literally just flat out discriminate against this person because they're Asian. But then a black person comes into the room and they do the same thing, submit their application. All that stuff. Oh, yeah, welcome to Harvard because we need more black people here. It's like, what? So yeah, I get it. You know, we got to have these quotas and these balances, but at the same token, when you're trying to sit there and say that we need to have a system in place to combat racism and having school inclusion and everything else, you subsequently and you subsequently start discriminating against others. Now, is there another balanced approach that one can take? Yes, there is, and it's quite simple. Thomas Sowell touched on this. Merit based, first come first served basis. Really, you know, and there's room for them. Let them in. What's the problem? Why do we? Let me back up. I understand the necessity to have affirmative action. I got that. However, in this day and age and time that we're in, where we're taking affirmative action to another level that's crippling the intent. The old saying, sometimes the cure is worse than the disease. And so we have to be careful crossing into that threshold of implementing destruction versus construction. So I just look at that and folks, I tell you, here you go.
All right, lots to talk about and catch up on today, but we're going to start today with some breaking news. This literally just made its way into my inbox this morning. It is from an internal whistleblower at the Coca-Cola company that came in and sat down at their desk and found an email requiring this new training, and spoiler, the training literally says, try to be less white. Yes, it does. We're going to go through 5 screenshots that I have of this training from this internal whistleblower. Now, it looks like Coca-Cola, and you know it's Coca-Cola because of the icon right up here in the corner. You can see the Coca-Cola icon, but they're obviously using LinkedIn Learning for their online training programs. It is.
I'm going to pause there for a second because I want to give a disclaimer. In fairness to Coca-Cola, they're just doing diversity training and they're utilizing the course provided by this. I know what she's saying, but I just want to preface with the fact that, yes, an employee is like, look at this shit. You know, what is this? Just to understand the background there. It's not that this was something that was constructed by Coca-Cola and they're forcing this on their employees. No, it was forcing the platform. The training needed to be done, but it was not something that was devised by Coca-Cola itself. Just want to clarify that background a little bit.
A very popular training platform. A lot of companies use it. It is not that out of the ordinary. And they are asking their employees to complete a training called Confronting Racism with DiAngelo. Understand what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. Now, you can actually go onto LinkedIn Learning and view this training for yourself. It is publicly available. You can sign up. You can take this training. But what makes this different is, again, the Coca-Cola company is asking their employees to complete this training. So let's take a look at what's in a couple of the slides. It starts off confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. Goes on, one-time workshops on racism are not enough. Establish a set of organizational practices such as monthly affinity groups, cross-racial discussions, ongoing professional development, revamped interview questions that address racial issues. Now, what I want to bring your attention to here is that it says one-time workshops on racism are not enough. This is a very common line that you're going to get from these anti-racist diversity trainers. And basically, I mean, this is how they stay in business, folks. If I do like a manager training, and manager training is something I used to do an awful lot of, I would go in and I would teach managers how to be good bosses, how to communicate with their employees, how to create good working environments. I do that training once. I get paid for it once. I leave them with a set of recordings and a set of tools that they are then charged with implementing in their work environments. Well, anti-racism training doesn't work like that, because you can make a lot more money if you have to come back over and over and over again. So what they say is that one is never enough. You have to constantly do the work of becoming an anti-racist. It is a lifelong process in which you will be consistently doing the work. When it comes to how anti-racism address people who have skin color that looks like mine, pasty white, what they say is that you will be racist your entire life. It is a lifelong process of deconstructing your own whiteness, and now they're trying to bring it into organizations. Moving on, we've got this slide here. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white. Research shows that by the ages of 3 to 4, children understand that it is better to be white. Now, this is Robin DiAngelo's MO. Of course, you'll see there are no scholarly references to back this up. And if you read the book White Fragility, the references in the book White Fragility, which is where all this stuff comes from, this is what she talks about in that book, there are no academic references for a lot of the information that she purports in that book, particularly not around ideas like this. In White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo talks about being raised as a privileged white lady and how she was always afraid of black people and was afraid of going to potlucks with black people. I'm not making this up. It's actually in the book. She confesses her racism throughout the book. She talks about how she's a racist. She talks about how she treats her coworkers with racist behavior that she then has to go and apologize for, and she's always so grateful when her coworkers forgive her for being racist. But does she provide any sources to back it up? No, she's speaking from her own perspective. Robin DiAngelo is in this years-long process of making a public confession about how racist she is, and she assumes that because she is a racist and because she is afraid of black people, that all white people are racist. I mean, the amount of mental gymnastics that this woman plays, it is mind-boggling, and she is making millions of dollars convincing white people that are coming, most of them, guys, they're coming from a good place. Like, when people get sucked into this stuff, I genuinely believe they're doing it because they want the world to be fair. They want to treat people well. They want to do the right thing. But teaching people that they are racist when they are not racist, when their behaviors do not show that they are racist in any way, is not the way to address racism in our society. And it's really, at the end of the day, this is a process of validation for Robin DiAngelo. She admits that she's a racist. Fine, Robin, go do the work yourself. But what you're doing is making millions of dollars convincing other people that they're racist too. There's a special place in hell for Robin DiAngelo. Moving on. The next slide, and again, you can very clearly see the Coca-Cola image in this one. To be less white is to be less oppressive, to be less arrogant, to be less certain, to be less defensive, to be less ignorant, to be more humble. Listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity. So let me read this slide in a different way. What this slide says is that people who are white are oppressive, are arrogant, are certain, are defensive, are ignorant, are not humble, don't listen, don't believe, don't have apathy, and act with white solidarity. That's what this slide is really saying. This is an employee training for one of the largest companies in the world. And by the way, I was not sent these slides by a white person. I was sent these slides by a Latino, because this stuff pisses the Latinos off just as much as it pisses the white people off. I'm sorry. I mean, and I shouldn't even say it just pisses the white people off. This pisses off anyone that believes that racism is wrong. This is racism. You can be black and believe this is wrong. You can be Asian and believe this is wrong. You can be Native American and believe this is wrong. And I know many people of all of those different ethnicities and backgrounds that do believe this is wrong. But then the last slide we've got right here, try to be less white. That is the end of the training. Try to be less white. You guys thought I was joking, didn't you? No, I'm not even mincing words. The only words on this slide, and again, we can see the Coca-Cola image up in the background there. Try to be less white. So this is not the first time I've talked about Coca-Cola on this channel. I do have a whole playlist of 4 videos where they sent out an allyship guide.
All right, you get the point. I just want to illustrate with the visuals what the presentation consisted of. Now, there was one thing that was left out in the presentation that I saw and I read was Europeans, white, the definition of white is anyone of European descent, and person of color is anyone who is not from Europe. What the folks, if you've never been to Europe, to virtually every country in mainland Europe, you would easily fall prey to that definition. Easily. Because I will tell you right now, when you're traveling around Europe, you're going to see not only a high level of diversity, but you're going to run across people who don't identify with the national origin. I guess you could say, like, you'll find people that are born and raised in Germany, but they would not say that they're German, per se. They're just there. They're a German citizen. So you will find that. You will see that when you travel around and you actually go to Europe, to these different places. Spain, Spanish speaking country, mainland Europe. They have more commonality with Hispanic people than white people. So I mean, like, let's think about the dichotomy that we're like trying to shift into here. That is a you're telling Hispanic people, oh, be careful. Yeah, you may be black, you may be part of the black and brown community, but you can't be seen as white. What? It's like, what is the confusion here? So what are we doing here? But that's that part. Then you have I'm trying to think of another country over there that's like would be considered people of color. Italians. They have a hue to them. They have, you blend them into a population, you'll pass them as a light-skinned person, possibly, depending on the shade and where they're from, in Italy and everything else. So I'm saying all that to say, now, if you would have said white people are defined as somebody from the Scandinavia countries, okay, blonde hair, blue eyed, predominantly the trait, the reigning trait, I would say, okay, fine, fair enough. I wouldn't argue with you. Then you're categorizing also. You're leaving out a whole half of the world when you say white people are this and people of color are this. So you just excluded Arabs, or yeah, you excluded the Middle Easterners. Let me put it like that. Middle Easterners, and you're excluding the Asian community. Pacific Islanders, you're excluding them because a lot of them also come out of Europe, mainland Europe. When I say mainland, I'm excluding the UK because the UK is a cesspool of people as well, just like the United States, just like Canada, just like most places. So we have to be careful when we're trying to trot down this lane of identifying where people originate from, because at the end of the day, humankind originated out of Africa. Okay, so are we relegating? Are we looking at DNA? Are we looking at skin complexion? What mechanisms are we actually looking at? to determine what's white, what's black, what's this, what's that, and the third. And like she said, like the lady said in the training, DiAngelo said in the training, you know, we fall into this binary paradigm of white and black. We exclude everybody and everything else, and we just focus on white and black. And I take pause to that. I talked about that before. It's like, what about other people? They feel like they're left out of the conversation, and they're also in the majority in a sense. You know, when you, especially when you're talking in the U.S., looking at, you know, the election of the United States. 13% blacks make up 13%, Hispanics make up 17%. You know, all others combined number. We don't exist. I don't know. You know, so I don't know. It's mind blowing. Mind blowing. But anyways, in tribute to Black History Month, there's, I'm going back to the Annapolis, Maryland area, the U.S. Naval Academy domain this week also, because there was another figure, a local figure there, who made history, and she done a lot of great things for the community there, and she was recognized for her efforts and her works and stuff like that. And I personally, like I said last week about the other two gentlemen that I highlighted, I didn't know anything about it. Now, ironically, I did pass by this house, this very house that I'm about to show you. I did pass by this house in Annapolis, and I did see that street sign. I just didn't put two and two together. I just didn't think about it because it's right around the area of the if you're down in Annapolis, Maryland, it's that particular area is in the vicinity. I can't tell you the street name exactly. I don't know. It's been years now, but it's in the vicinity of the Benjamin Banneker Frederick Douglass Museum. Sitting right there, kind of like off of I'm not to say the main street, but it's one of the main streets. It kind of sits off in that area. But anyways, so her name is Lillie Mae, and once again another black woman, African American woman, who contributed a lot to not only the U.S. Naval Academy but the black community in her efforts in shaping and helping those who were in need as they were going through the academy for the U.S. Navy. So take a look.
Well, we're standing in front of the house of Lillie Mae Chase, one of the most amazing Annapolitans I ever met. She was born here actually 100 years ago this week in 1918 in a house that sat where the field house of the Naval Academy is today. And when I came here in '67, she was the housekeeper at the museum. But Lillie Mae made friends with everybody. I mean, she was wonderful. She became my black mother, local mother. She cut my hair for 30 years. She was just a great personality. I mean, we used to get so many compliments on how clean and orderly the museum was while she worked there. But she was so much more, particularly to the visitors. Anybody that had a problem or just wanted to chat, she took care of them. One day she was going home for lunch, and there was this black woman standing outside the gate looking lost, and she went over and she said, "Gee, can I help you?" And she said, "Well, I have a son who's a midshipman, but I don't know where I can go. They say I can't see him until 3 when classes are over, and I don't know where I can go in this town because it's segregated. Well, you can come over and keep Mama Louise, my mother, company." And soon after that, Lillie Mae became the unofficial sponsor of all the black midshipmen at the Naval Academy. When I did her retirement party in 1978 at the Bay Ridge Inn, I had a waiting list. It seats over 240 people. I had the naval aide to the President of the United States. I had an astronaut. I had a vice president of Chase Manhattan Bank, guy who had his multi-million-dollar corporation of Columbia. It was just amazing at the group of people that turned out for that and wanted to speak in behalf of Lillie Mae and her retirement. But her mother bought this house. Her mother just worked in the neighborhood as a domestic all her life, but they saved their money, and she bought this house, and Lil and her sister older sister inherited it, and Lil lived in it most of her life. Lillie Mae Chase, just one of the greatest personalities that this town ever produced.
All right, so folks, amazing things that you don't pay attention to, that you don't think about. You may down the street one somewhere, and you never think about, like, they have transpired right along where you're walking. So I find those things quite interesting. But anyways, I'm down to the bottom of the hour now. I appreciate you all tuning in. You can pick up my book, The New You Now with Wisdom, on Amazon, on e-Kindle format there. You want to be a guest on the show, hit me up. You want to contribute to the show, you can do so through at $RPerm for US on Cashapp, PayPal. It's RPerm for US. If you would like to advertise on the show, you can do so as well. You can contact me, and I'll be happy to showcase your products or your services. Also, I will be back on next Friday. I will be taking the week off as I'm heading out of town. So, celebrate my birthday weekend. Woo-woo. So, I will see y'all next Friday. On all the platforms. I'm on Gab, MeWe, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, much more. I'll talk to y'all later. Take it easy. God bless you all. Be safe and enjoy the rest of your week.
You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservativeshow.com.